Good day. You're welcome to my presentation on poor academic performance, the causes, red flags to look out for, and remedies. My name is Olufumilayo Da Silva, and I'm the lead trainer at the Outstanding Edu Consult. First, we'll have some housekeeping rules. During this training, I suggest that all phones be on silent, please, so that you can fully concentrate. I'm of the opinion that you should be in a quiet spot with a jotter and a working pen, and if possible, a partner that you can discuss with. Please don't talk so that we can listen. Ordinarily, if you were in a school having this training, nobody would be advised to talk when somebody else is talking. That's the good manners that we teach our children. Collaboration is a 21st century skill. You need to be an active participant in your group activity. Had we been in a school, we'd have been shared into physical groups, and then we'd be able to participate actively in our groups. If you need to get up and go anywhere, well, you can do so unobtrusively. I suggest that you pause and then come back and unpause. But if you were in a school, we'll leave unobtrusively and then join the training when you come back. Your first contribution when we are mute for an online training, then I'm suggesting that you kindly mention your name and your school. If it's a physical training in your school, the same would apply, only the unmute would not be part of the options at that point. Now, causes and remedies of poor academic performance and red flags to watch out for. By the end of this training, everyone should be able to list at least 4 reasons why students struggle and are not performing at their optimum academic level. Everyone should be able to describe more than 3 red flags to watch out for. Everybody should be able to, at the end of this training, prefer different remedies to this identified challenge to optimum academic performance. Now, what do we mean by poor academic performance? I discovered this description by Wikipedia. Academic performance means the extent to which a student, teacher, or institution has achieved their short or long-term educational goals. So we could then say that poor academic performance means a student, teacher, or institution has not achieved their short or long-term educational goals. I put a post on Facebook the other day that said that, have you achieved your goals? And if you haven't, what other plan? Try plan B. If plan B doesn't work, try plan C. But don't stop trying. So this is what we mean by poor academic performance. We've talked about the setting out of goals and not meeting the goals. So the first task that you have with your jotter and pen is for you to come up with causes of poor performance in each of these areas in the student's life. I'm going to project some areas now. There are 3 different areas, and you're to jot down the causes of poor performance in each of them. The home. What causes poor performance in the child's life from home? In the area of the home, what can cause poor performance in the child's life, in the learner's life, in the pupil's life? What about the student himself or herself? What is it about the student that can cause poor performance? And the third area, the school, our schools. What are the causes of poor performance in the student's life that are caused by the school or are observed in the school? So you observe the home, You observe the school, you observe the student himself or herself. What causes poor performance in these segments, or what about these segments cause poor performance for our learners? Causes of poor academic performance. When I've been observing for quite a number of years now, and feedback from various teachers, we came up with the following. I don't know what you jotted down, so you can check what you jotted down against these. Abuse. When a learner, a child, a student, a pupil has been abused, the tendency is for that child, that learner, that student, or that pupil to perform poorly in academics. When the person has been taught badly or the lessons have been inadequate, that learner will perform poorly. When the learner is stressed, the learner will perform poorly. We as adults, when we are stressed, we perform poorly. So you can imagine the case of the young learners or even the older ones. Fear. When they're constantly afraid, this can lead to poor academic performance. If there's tension in the class, tension in the home, tension in themselves, you're going to have poor academic performance. If there are financial challenges at home, you're definitely going to have poor academic performance because the tendency is for parents to take it out on the learner. If there are health issues, the child is asthmatic, has a hole in the heart, has or even the temporary health issues like typhoid, malaria, even a common headache, a cough, a cold, any health issue will affect the academic performance of a learner. Laziness. If a learner is lazy, there's definitely going to be an impact on their academic performance. If the learner has inadequate study time, there's definitely going to be poor performance by that learner. If the learner lacks study materials, you might wonder, what study materials? Well, assuming he's been given homework and there are no pens in the house, or like some parents, they specify on a particular color and they don't allow that colors in the home, and yet that color of pen is not available, or there's no quiet space to study, or there are a number of study materials that the child needs, you know. And if the child, the learner, the pupil, the student lacks these study materials, the tendency is to have poor academic performance. If the learner is a victim of a broken home, father and mother are not together, or they're having issues, there's a tendency for there to be poor academic performance by the learner. If the learner is not confident, has doubts, then those doubts will affect his ability to perform optimally academically. Now, when we say red flags, what do we mean by red flags and how do they look in this circumstance? Now, I want you to discuss with your partner and come up with some red flags. If you don't have a partner, think about it. You have 5 minutes and come up, jot down those things that you think are red flags. First of all, what do we mean by a red flag? And I've even given you the answer there. A red flag is a sign of some particular problem requiring attention. In other words, attention, attention, I need help, I need help. But it's silently done and you can see. So it's a body language thing. That's what we mean by red flags. Body languages that portray that there's a sign of a particular problem that needs attention. These are some that I've come up with or I've been able to observe over the years. Poor appearance or changed appearance. A child that is always scruffy and not nicely or neatly dressed, or a child that used to be, plump, then suddenly is thin. A child that used to be, bubbly and is suddenly withdrawn. A change in appearance of that child, that's a red flag. That's a warning. There's something wrong. If there's a change in behavior, somebody who used to be an extrovert suddenly becoming introverted, somebody who used to answer questions before, used to submit their work on time, suddenly lagging behind, someone that used to be so confident, suddenly becoming a doubtful person, a shadow of himself or herself. That's a red flag. The words that are spoken. The person never used to use swear words. The person never used to shout arbitrarily. The person used to speak, well. Suddenly this person is using swear words, is talking very differently. That's a red flag. Written words. Writing four-letter, the F words, swear words, writing words that are normally he doesn't write or she doesn't write all over the cover of his book or on his desk or on her desk or so some written words that didn't occur before with that learner suddenly start appearing. That's a red flag. Specific actions. Person is a bully. Bullies are not born, they are made. What is causing that person to bully other learners? The person is a deviant in behavior, that is, doesn't behave normally, doesn't behave like he's expected or she is expected to in a normal way. That's a red flag. Something is wrong. Behavior which regularly interferes with classroom environment or management. The class clown doesn't do his work, always cracking jokes off tangent, always going off task. That's a red flag. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. A notable change in academic performance. An A-star student becoming a C student. A student when there's a drop in grades, and sometimes too, when there's an improvement in grades, something has changed. So, notable change in academic performance is a red flag. Something is happening in the life of that learner. And then poor, inconsistent preparation for lessons. The child is not prepared, never prepared for lessons. It's worrying. Something is wrong. Why is that child having inconsistent preparation for lessons? Now, the next slide is a video clip on what good schools are all about. Be attentive and take notes.
A good school, I think, is when kids are always happy to learn and ready to learn, and when teachers are always excited to do their job.
I think it's made of a positive community where kids feel safe first.
A good environment that everyone is supportive of each other.
Our administration and our principals are so supportive. They know us, they know what we do, and we feel very encouraged to express who we are and bring that into our classroom.
A good school doesn't only push you to learn, but pushes you to try new things.
The teachers and the staff members and the students all are respectful.
They're getting more out of their education because they know that they are heard and understood.
Even if it's not about school, you can ask for anything and they'll be there to help you.
We can't lose sight of the student as the person. We're here to help them develop emotional and social maturity, just really preparing them to be successful persons as they grow up.
It's their needs first.
Now, the next film that we're going to watch has to do with what we're talking about too. In this instance, you can read in between the lines to what the school has done, what the home has done, and what the student himself has done to ensure or to contribute towards the poor academic performance. So here we go.
Your son is a failure. He's barely passing my class, and with grades like this, I'm just not sure what kind of future he's gonna have. What do you have to say for yourself? You're supposed to graduate this year.
Listen to Mr. Johnson. What kind of future do you think you're gonna have?
With all due respect, don't call me a failure. Failure is an event, not a person in fact. And you talk about the future, Mr. Johnson, but you're not preparing us for that.
Excuse me?
Just listen to what I'm saying.
This should be good.
Would you agree that in the future, most careers will become automated?
Yeah, so?
So the people who succeed will have to be curious, innovative, with resilience to adapt to new changes.
What's your point?
My point is, the focus in this school is not on that. It is on regurgitating information and test taking, and that's just real. But in today's world, creativity is the most important leadership skill.
Oh, that's how you feel.
You don't have to believe me, but maybe you will believe the 1,500 executives who recently said creativity is the most important leadership skill. See, pretty soon, no one will be hired because of what they know. Because who cares what you know or if you've memorized a fact? We've got Google and Siri for that. In the future, people will be hired because of what they can do with their knowledge. Can they creatively solve real-world problems, not just follow instructions or directions and bubble in multiple choice questions? So, Mom, that's why I'm stressed, because these robotic tasks we learn in school should stop. Because no one can do a robot's job better than a robot. Billionaire founder of Alibaba, Jack Ma, said that we should not compete with artificial intelligence, but instead focus on developing unique human intelligence. Mr. Johnson, drills are for teeth, not the human mind. So these repetitive knowledge-based tasks we must leave behind. Or in the future, you're gonna find a lot of people graduating out of your class right into the unemployment line. See, many top companies today don't look at grades. Mom, that old way is expiring. Google has been quoted as saying GPAs are worthless criteria for hiring. Founder of Tesla, Elon Musk, agrees. So I say this with unease and sorrow. If you continue to teach today as you taught yesterday, then you rob us students of tomorrow. Mr. Johnson, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Sometimes sitting in your class is tough. I'm constantly thinking, if I don't look up at the clock, maybe it'll speed up. So I listen to you do my work and pay attention, feeling like an hour had to have gone by. But it was only 3 minutes. So if you wonder why we're bored in class, look, you want to get a kid to hate reading? Give them this, a school textbook. And some people think it's our fault, and that hurts me. They say you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And to that I say no. Firstly, you can put salt in that horse's hay and make him thirsty. And if you bring joy in your classroom, you can make any bad student nerdy. As he or she discovers the beauty of truly learning. Mr. Johnson, I mean no disrespect. You have the most important job on this planet. You build, create, and save lives. But if you really care about my future, like you say, then you have to fully commit and ask yourself honestly, how do I prepare a child for a future that doesn't yet exist? Here's a hint. The answer is not found in this. It's using this and this. See, in the future, we will need more passion and compassion. People with inspired hearts and wisdom to uplift this planet. And Mom, I love you, but can I be real?
Go ahead.
You want to know one of the biggest factors for childhood success? It's not IQ. It's family meals. And we haven't had one of those in a while. See, I know sometimes you don't feel proud, because I may not be a straight A student, but I'm not stupid. These tests may be 70% of my grade, but they're 0% of my future. But don't worry, I'll pass this class and get through this. But I need you to give me the space I need to be me and live true. Because the best feeling in the world is that your own parents get you. There's a passage in a book called The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. And if you don't mind, I'd love to share it with you.
Go ahead.
See, he says, your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, they do not belong to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow. So, Mom, I'd appreciate it if you give me the love that I need to pursue my dreams. See, if we are to succeed, all three of us need behavior change on all fronts. We talk about the future, but the future is now, and it is created now by all of us.
I've never heard you speak like that before.
Yeah, I didn't know.
But I'm going to reach out to administration and try to change some things. You have my word.
Well, we've got the following tips that are going to help us improve and make performance in our learners better. So let's see them. I've given the website to get it from there. You've got to set goals and work backwards. You've got to have improved teaching, child-centered and not content-centered. Remember, every child matters. We've got the ability and learning style-centered lessons, not teacher-led lessons. You need to talk to each other, collaborate, and let the children feel free, learners, let them feel free to approach you, to talk to you. You need to get through the frustration period. Leave negative vibes outside the school gate when you're coming in, and try not to pick them up when you're going home. So your children don't have to, be exposed to whatever it is that is frustrating you. Financial support can be sought from your boss, or we can pray for the financial support for our parents so that they can, they can pay the fees, and then ensure that the children don't get the vibes so that it affects their education. Sharpen exam skills. Teach the learners how to answer exam questions. What are the skills that are needed to successfully get through the exams? We need to improve our school environment. It should be hygienic. It should be, we should be able to teach the children in the school environment about social distancing and all the other things that will make the school an optimal learning environment for them. So we need to improve our school environment. There should be a wider variety of learning resources. Gone are the days of cardboard and pen, telling them that they should do their projects on cardboards. There should be a greater variety of learning resources. This is the 21st century. Practice exams with them, please. Practice, practice, and practice, because practice makes perfect. Past questions, rephrase, and let them get used to all sorts of exams on that topic. So whenever the topic is brought up in whatever form, because you've taught them child-centered lessons and they were able to connect, they'll be able to pass the exams. We're going to play a video after this slide. I need for you to listen to the message because she's a powerful speaker, and we have found out that the content of her speech has helped a lot of learners in their schools.
I study the effects of incivility on people. What is incivility? It's disrespect or rudeness. It includes a lot of different behaviors, from mocking or belittling someone, to teasing people in ways that sting, to telling offensive jokes, to texting in meetings. So we launched a study on the effects of incivility on performance and the bottom line. And what we found was eye-opening. We sent a survey to business school alumni working in all different organizations. And we asked them to write a few sentences about one experience where they were treated rudely, disrespectfully, or insensitively, and to answer questions about how they reacted. One person told us about a boss that made insulting statements like, "That's kindergartner's work." And another tore up someone's work in front of the entire team. And what we found is that incivility made people less motivated. 66% cut back work efforts, 80% lost time worrying about what happened, and 12% left their job. Cisco read about these numbers and estimated conservatively incivility was costing them $12 million a year. But what about if you're not the one who experiences it? What if you just see or hear it? In another study in a small group, we tested the effects of a peer insulting a group member. Now, what we found was really interesting because witnesses' performance decreased too, and not just marginally, quite significantly. Incivility is a bug. It's contagious, and we become carriers of it just by being around it. So if incivility has such a huge cost, why do we still see so much of it? The number one reason is stress. People feel overwhelmed. The other reason that people are not more civil, they believe they'll appear less leader-like. They wonder, do nice guys finish last? Well, it turns out in the long run, they don't. In a biotechnology firm, colleagues and I found that those that were seen as civil were twice as likely to be viewed as leaders, and they performed significantly better. Why does civility pay? Because people see you as an important and a powerful, unique combination of two key characteristics: warm and competent, friendly and smart. So where do you start? How can you lift people up and make people feel respected? Well, the nice thing is it doesn't require a huge shift. Small things can make a big difference. I've found that thanking people, sharing credit, listening attentively, humbly asking questions, acknowledging others, and smiling has an impact. What I know from my research is that when we have more civil environments, we're more productive, creative, helpful, happy, and healthy. We can do better. Each one of us can be more mindful and can take actions to lift others up around us, at work, at home, online, in schools, and in our communities. In every interaction, think, who do you want to be?
Now, have we met the objectives of this training? Can everybody list at least 4 reasons why students struggle and they're not performing at their optimum academic level? Are you able to describe more than 3 red flags to watch out for now? Can you proffer different remedies to this identified challenge to optimum academic performance in your school? And finally, when you get back to your schools after this training, what will you be doing differently? See the worried guy there. He's worried that maybe some of us haven't met the objectives. Thank you. This has been Olufumilayo Da Silva, the outstanding teacher trainer, Edu Consult. And it's a bit late, but I want to introduce myself. I have had the privilege of 36 years of teaching learners and 10 years of being a manager of leading schools. And I keep on learning and improving. And it is a privilege to be able to improve the learning skills of colleagues all over. I've been in Abuja, led schools in Abuja, Warri, Lagos, and I continue to have it as a passion to improve teachers, because one day when you say you're a Nigerian teacher, you will be sought after all over the world. That is my vision for the Nigerian teacher. Thank you, and God bless you.